Oh, there she is.
Hey,
Ashlee Evans-Smith, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you. Can you hear
All
me and see
right.
me?
I can't hear. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. How are you doing? Are you back home?
Yeah, I'm back home. I got home late, about 9, 10 o'clock on, what day was it? Sunday night?
Okay. So tell us your
Yeah.
story, because your story was well documented. When did you
Yeah.
fly out to England?
We flew out Friday.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we flew out.
when you flew out, did you think there was a chance that this would get canceled?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I was quoted as just saying that, I knew there was a possibility of being quarantined, and it was just at that time, like what could you do? I wasn't gonna say I'm not gonna fight, because what if the fight went on? It was just a risk you have to take, especially with the UFC not insuring our money. It's like, if you want to get paid, you have to take these risks. You have to.
Deep down inside, were you a little uneasy about it, nervous, or were you just blocking it all out?
To be honest, I was really doing well positivity wise until I got that final call on what was it, Saturday morning, when they flew me home, and then I started to get a little doubtful. I was still positive, since I was still trying to stay positive, even though there was a potential fight, and California and Vegas were, still in negotiations whether they were even going to allow it. But I was trying to hold on to that glimmer of hope that there still would be a fight. So yeah, and now it's over.
And could you do me a favor? We're kind of getting like half your face here. I want to get your full, if you want to move it up a little bit just to give you the maximum exposure. Can you do that? Or maybe sitting back. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Sorry.
Um, how did
Didn't
you,
expect to be on this morning. Sorry.
no, that's cool. And I appreciate you jumping in here. How did you get the word that the fight was off?
Uh, so what they did was, I mean, I don't want to say strung us along, but they basically had us waiting and standing by the phone until yesterday around 2 o'clock. And, you know, for people like me, who, I'm a big girl, I cut a lot of weight. It was kind of like, all right, can I eat? Can I not eat? Am I going to fight? And was just, trying to work out when there was no gyms around and all that. It was kind of rough, but I finally got the call from my manager, Brian Butler at Sucker Punch, around 2 o'clock, saying that the fight was completely off. Yeah.
And that's after you flew probably what, like 11 hours from California to England?
Yeah, we basically, I was in the air for about 24 hours total, and then landed. I was in London probably for maybe less than 12 hours.
Wow. And I know there's been some talk about this Cage Warriors event on Friday. Molly is someone who lives in England. You were supposed to fight Molly McCann on the card. Was there any talk of keeping you there to fight on this card?
No, so we landed, had no contact with the UFC, just checked into the hotel. I believe I was the first fighter over there. And me and Marvin Vittori, I believe, are the only US fighters that actually made it to London. But I checked in, I was first before Marvin, and didn't talk to anybody, watched the Brazil fights that night, and then got the phone call Saturday morning. I woke up to the phone call, and I thought that was just going to be, I was hoping it was just going to be like, come down, do media, sign some posters, that kind of stuff. But it was, hey, you got to get right back on the plane now, pack your bag. I wasn't even unpacked, but,
Wow.
basically, yeah.
Any kind of word if you'll be compensated because you flew over there? Show money, something like that?
That would be lovely, but no, nothing right now. It's my manager. I think he has a strong argument for a lot of fighters, especially fighters like me and Marvin, who, flew all the way over there and had to fly back. Just exchanging your money, little things. You're losing money, exchanging it back and forth. Buying things over there, like. We would love our whole fight purse, obviously, but just even being compensated for the small expenses would be nice. But we don't know right now.
How big of a hit is this to you? Because you guys don't get paid if you don't fight, right? So you just went through a whole training camp. How much of a burden is this now?
For me personally, my story is that I haven't fought in a year. I was supposed to fight back in August on the Uruguay card, but I basically tore my shoulder and my pec minor, so I was out for a year. And so financially, I mean, you do the math. If you don't work for a year, how much is that going to hurt you? So it's going to affect me a lot, a lot.
Are you handling it okay? How are you doing now?
I would be a liar if I said I haven't had a few good cries. I'm an emotional person. When I'm happy, I'm really happy. When I'm sad, I wear it on my sleeve. But for the most part, I'm trying to stay positive because this is bigger than us. It's bigger than fights. It's bigger than sports. It's worldwide. So I think it's really selfish for me to just jump online and boohoo about my fight. It's like there's so many fights. LFA, Bellator, all the fighters, all the sports. So for me, I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm trying to stay positive because I know eventually we will fight again. This is not the end of, well, I don't know, it's
Right,
not the end of the world, but it's not the
right.
end of the world. It's not the end of sports, So for the most part, I believe that I'm positive and I'm happy. If I sit here and I think real hard about all the sacrifice I've made, not for this fight camp, but since I got injured, rehabilitating, all those things, all the sacrifices financially, emotionally, physically that I've made, I could probably cry right now, but there's no point in doing that.
Could I ask? I think a lot of people are trying to figure out a way how to get their mind off of the news just for a second because you could get overwhelmed by it, right? Is there something that you would recommend as an athlete that has helped you go for a run, read a book, something that is helping you during this time? Because I feel it myself, like I feel like I'm getting down at times just looking at the news and feeling depressed, and I need to go outside and get some fresh air. Anything that has helped you over the last couple of days? And I know your situation supremely stressful because you had to fly in the midst of all this and your job, but any kind of recommendation that you want to give to the people?
I mean, for me, it hasn't been that long because I was traveling and I was like kind of holding on, and like I've been kind of like miss positivity until about yesterday, and I still am really, really positive, and I'd say it's a mixture of things, and it's gonna sound silly, but I think a lot of people are making a lot of memes, jokes, and a lot of people are getting mad at that, saying like this is not a joke. Like it's not a joke, but why do you think we have stand-up comedy that makes fun of all these important issues? Because at the end of the day, if you take your life so serious, like it's gonna eat at you and you're just gonna be a negative, just grumpy person. So just kind of, I would like to say, like, try to laugh at the situation and try to find humor. You know what I mean? I don't want to stay inside too long, but I love stand-up comedy. I've been listening to Joey Diaz, like just a lot of people's funny takes on the situation. If you just watch CNN, you're gonna go crazy. So comedy. I'm very fortunate to have a few people in here in Orange County, California, with some private gyms. So I'm gonna get my training in, sanitized. We're gonna make sure that we're all safe. Like 3 people, 4 people max. And realistically, like just, I mean, there's not a lot you can, you don't even want to stay off your phone because you need to be updated. You need to be informed. But yeah, I don't have too much to tell you guys because for the most part, it just hit me. I just got the news yesterday.
Ashley, hang in there. You're handling this very well under very difficult circumstances. I really appreciate you jumping in. I
Oh,
kind of
I'm
forced you
sorry.
to jump in. Oh, go in. Yes.
Can I say one thing? I mean, it made me feel better a little bit, and it might make other people feel better. Yesterday, I gave blood, and it seems kind of small, but someone giving blood can save a life, and it's kind of corny. But for the most part, you get to feel a little bit of power in a very powerless, helpless time. You get to know that something that can take 5 minutes, you fill out the questionnaire, you make sure you're healthy. It does not weaken your immune system. As soon as you do that, you kind of feel a little bit of power, a little bit of like you're helping the situation instead of just staying and Netflixing and chill. So that would be said.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Ashley, thank you so much. Be well out there, okay?